Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Full of personality. Switching up the storyline on God, we making history. Writing books, changing lives. One day at a time. Put your problems to the side. Enjoy yourself. Free your mind. Kicking it with KeKe.
Hello, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your girl, KeKe Chanel, award-winning author, lifestyle blogger, certified life coach, and now podcast host. Yes, I am podcast host. Y'all, listen. This year has been so amazing. Launching this podcast, I've had some amazing guests, met some amazing people, heard some amazing stories, and I cannot wait to share one of them with you guys today with my special guest, Coach Shaniqua. Thank you for joining me today. How are you? You look beautiful.
Thank you. So do you. I'm well. I'm excited. Excited what we're going to pour into the people today. So I'm really excited to get into it. I'm
Yeah,
curious about the questions that you're going to ask.
of course. Listen, I always like to keep those special because I like the answers to be authentic. I
I
want people to
know.
rehearse. Uh, Before we get into the topic, I like to have all of my guests tell everybody who they are. So, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the people who you are, what you do?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm Coach Shaniqua, and I actually help my clients to brand and market themselves on Instagram using strategic and consistent strategies that will really help to attract their ideal clients. I really love what I do. I mainly, only, not mainly, I exclusively work with the women. So I love being able to do that. And we'll touch on that a little bit later as we get through the conversation. But that's a little bit about what I do.
Yes, love that. I love that. We all need a little push sometimes. It's the name of my business, push, proclaiming unbreakable self-healing, if you will. But yes, so today's topic would be transitioning. And I know that word can be a little bit intimidating for people. So if you had to describe or define the word transitioning, what would it be?
Oh man, it would be so many things, but to keep it short, I would describe transitioning as a period of moving from one space to another. Simple
Love.
as kept, right? From one space to another, right? And that could be in many different facets, many different areas of life, but any type of move from one space to another, I would say is how I would define
I love that. That is awesome. I mean, it's simple, but it's impactful. Like it's powerful. Like moving from one space to another, it takes courage. It takes boldness. It takes deciding that I want better, right?
Right,
So,
exactly.
so when it comes to transitioning, how necessary do you believe it is?
Oh man, transitioning is everything, right? I like to use transition and growth interchangeably
Mhm.
because anytime that you experience a transition, right, it may feel like you're challenged, it may feel like it's not working out for your good, but any transition that you go through, you're really growing through it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because you're learning something, you're gaining something, right? You're transitioning to a different version of yourself. And so I think it's extremely important because without it, a lot of us will remain stagnant. A lot of us would stay where we are. And, being in your comfort zone is probably one of the worst things that we could do for ourselves. And, that's really a part of why I kind of started this as well, is because I wanted to transition from
Mhm.
my comfort zone, a comfort zone that has been the comfort space for many generations before me,
Right.
right? So I believe that transitioning is a vital part of our success and our
Mhm.
growth.
Mhm. I agree. I love everything that you said because we get stuck in that comfort zone and we miss out on being great. And I believe that God placed us here to be great in every aspect of the word.
Yes.
You know, when we're walking in our purpose, we meet amazing people like we just met. I'm
Yep.
so thankful that
Me
our
too.
paths crossed. Shout out to the rich auntie because she's connecting a lot of women across this world. Like, listen, women from all walks of life, profession, everything. And we just have a fabulous time. And so I'm glad that you're working with women because as nurturers, we get stuck taking care of everybody else and forget to pour into ourselves. Can you talk about a little bit about that? Like, past experience maybe with dealing with women who know what they want, working toward that, but they're still stuck in that, I don't think that I'm good enough phase, or, no one is going to support me phase, or, like we get in our own way.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit for our listeners who are listening in today?
Oh man, getting in your own way. Wow. I can't wait for them to listen to the panel.
Uh-huh.
But
Yes.
but it is definitely a challenge to get out of your own way. And I saw a consistent pattern, right? I saw a consistent pattern with women in my family, women who were not in my family, women that I met, at work, through corporate America, through church, it's a constant pouring.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to wonder, like, where does the replenishment come from?
Right.
If you're constantly pouring, you're constantly giving, like, where do you get your replenishment? Like, how are you pouring something that you don't really have, to give, right? And so I find that we operate in so many different roles and in so many different titles, but the most important thing that we can be is us.
Yes.
Like, that's the most important thing that we can be. Like, you are the best gift that you can give to the world. Yes, you are a mother. Yes, you are a wife. I totally understand all of those things. I am all of those things, right? But if I lost the essence of Shaniqua while being those things, I wouldn't be able to have impactful conversations like these. I wouldn't be able to have a business, where I'm having more impactful conversations and relationships, right?
Right.
And it goes back to what you said before, is we were created to be great in all aspects,
Right.
and if we are only focusing on the mom aspect, or only focusing on the wife aspect, or the believer aspect, right? Because some of us are in church 365. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's extremely important that we operate outside of those roles and really step into the women of influence that God designed us to be. And I really want to touch on what you said also about being in your own way. Like, we are literally our own worst critic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I was watching this beautiful young lady's live the other day, and she stopped the whole live to say, y'all, I have a broke nail, so just ignore that. And I'm like, we were not even looking at that, sis.
You brought it forth, like, no. But that's what we do, right? That's what we do.
Like, you pointed out the most minuscule thing for us. Now we're looking for it because we want to see which one is broke.
Which one? Yes. Right.
Oh, I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, you should have just kept going. But we do that to ourselves. We put ourselves out on Front Street and we're nitpicking every little thing about ourselves. But one thing that really helped me really navigate, it's establishing my worth and recognizing who I was in Christ, and building my confidence, was really understanding that God created only one me.
Absolutely.
There is nobody who has this thumbprint, right?
Right.
There's nobody who is going to have my social print, right? So going around socially and through these virtual streets, right? Nobody can mimic my virtual thumbprint or my physical one. And so I think once we're able to tap in and understand that we are special, that we were created uniquely and wonderfully, I mean, the levels and heights that we can reach are very, very high.
Absolutely. And I don't know why, but the word transitioning makes a lot of people cringe because they're comfortable staying the way that they are. We settle, we get complacent. We lose that sense of wanting more or desiring more, especially being, if I've been married for almost 17 years, I have kids, and sometimes, and I've been there, I've lost to myself in taking care of them and trying to be the best wife that I possibly can. And so once I stopped and took a step back, looked at the woman in the mirror, didn't like who I recognized, and changed who I saw, instead of complaining about it or blaming other people, I took accountability for myself. And I decided to make the transition to getting back to me. Because, we lose ourselves along the way,
Yeah.
but it's a decision that we have to make. And it goes with our mindset. You have to be able to change, grow, and evolve. And all of those things mean the same, but it's different levels to it.
Yeah.
So anyone who is out there listening, who is afraid of transitioning, I believe that you are doing yourself a disservice by staying stuck in that. And if it's on you heavy, it's change. It's something that you need to do. If it's on you heavy, like get off my back, I'm telling you, y'all need to take heed to that. Take heed to that and do something, because your greatness is inside of you. You have all of the tools that is required of you to be great. They just have to come forth, and you have to let them.
Right.
So transitioning, sometimes that requires us to work outside, like operate outside of our title, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about that a little bit, like doing things that's not your title. Let's get into it. Let's get into that a little bit, Coach.
Yeah, and that's a perfect transition.
Yes.
Because you touched on accountability, right? And accountability is extremely important anytime you go through a transition, because you have to be accountable to yourself. And I think a lot of times we like to hide behind being accountable to our kids. Oh, I've got to get little Johnny to practice, and I got to get little Sarah to ballet, right? And so we're hiding behind accountability to others instead of being accountable to ourselves and the purpose that is dormant inside of us when we only focus on other things and other people. Even if you don't have kids, if you have a parent, that you have to take care of, a sibling. I find that even with teachers sometimes, right? Teachers who are, in the classroom, right? That's their purpose, right? But it shouldn't engulf who they are as individuals, right? And so, when you think about the essence and the beauty of operating outside of these titles and these roles, right? It's almost like we're doing ourselves and the world a disservice when we allow like our gifts and our talents to really remain dormant, inside of us. And I don't know if that answers the question. Tell me if it doesn't, but
oh, it does. It absolutely does. It really does. I mean, and then some, because you talked about, our gifts and stuff lying dormant. Like, okay, I didn't even think about that. You have to want to transition, and then that comes with doing things that you never knew that you had inside of you. Like you tapping into a different gift or talent. And we all know what it says. Our gifts will make room for us.
Yeah.
And if you're not making room for yourself, then you're leaving those gifts and talents and stuff untapped. So, transition is a big word. It's a powerful word, but it is a word that we all should gravitate toward. And we all should, reach back or look from left to right at the people who is coming with us, instead of down or pushing down on folks or putting our mouths on folks. No one has any room to talk about anyone who is in their transition phase.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I agree for sure.
Because I believe that the transition phase, it can be both good and bad. Because you can transition from a place of power to nothing at all. So for anyone who is listening who may have had to go through that, because sometimes we self-sabotage. We get in our own way and block blessings, or we tell things before it's time, or we too silent and we should be, networking and things like that. So to anyone who is listening that is going through a transitioning phase that is not so positive, what advice or what words of encouragement can you offer them today?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I am going to answer that question. I want to go back to what you said briefly, if that's okay.
That's fine.
I want to go back to what you said about transitioning can be a not so great thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like we giving up that power, right? Transitioning from power. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So before having kids, before being a wife, right? I remember being a very confident, strong woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, did I relinquish my control when I became a wife? When I became a mother? Did I step down from my power because I switched, to yoga pants instead of, fixing myself up and looking like a person, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, I feel like, even that, was a time when, I had to, I went through a transition where it's like, I would, go out of my house looking any kind of way. And everything is not about looks, you guys, but it's about, making sure that you represent yourself well, but also making sure that you feel well.
Right.
I believe that there is, power, and a lot of people went through this when they started working from home in the pandemic, but I believe that there is power when you get up and put yourself together, even when you're working from home.
Oh yeah, that's a
Um,
must. You have to. Because you could
yeah,
sit there all day long in them yoga pants and baby, everything expanding, but the pants staying the same size. Everything.
my goodness, that quarantine 15 turned into the quarantine 30 real quick.
Yes,
Okay.
right, right. And one thing I can say about my mom, she always, she still to this day wear heels, and she about to be 65. She rocks, she when she leaves the house, she coming on point. So
Mhm.
she instilled that into my siblings. Don't leave the house looking any kind of way.
Yep.
I don't care if you feel bad, at least put forth some effort because you don't know who you'll encounter. You
Exactly.
really don't. And I'm not talking about, for status or getting
Exactly.
praise or anything like that. You don't know who you encounter, like mentally, their space. Like them then seeing you presented a certain way may help them say, you know what? I know that she don't feel well. She just told us that, but she don't look how she feels. So you just
Mm.
never know. I'm not leaving my house looking any kind of way. I don't care if it's just a run to the store and I know I'm coming back, because you don't know what's gonna meet you there or what you're gonna encounter coming back
Mhm.
that may deter you, and you have to get out your car. And so you looking like, oh my God, I don't want to get out of this car because I got these sweats on. I got no, I ain't polishing my toenails. Flip
Yep.
flops, like yeah. So yes, I
I
I believe that we have to present ourselves the way that we want to feel and other people to see
Yeah.
us.
Absolutely. And I kid you not, I'm gonna get to the answer to the question, but I kid you not, one day I was riding down the highway and there was an accident, car accident, and there was a woman outside of her car. This was morning time, so I assumed she had done drop off her kids,
Sleeping
for
clothes.
school and everything, but she was wearing her robe and her pajamas and her
Mm-hmm.
her house shoes. And I could tell that I mean, just in a second, she just was like there with her like head down, and she's just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, like, this happened. And that's a bad thing that could happen, but a really great thing could also happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? You like you said, you never know who you might encounter, right? You
Mm-hmm.
could be the person that somebody is waiting on. And people pay attention when you present yourself a certain way. So if
Oh
God
yeah, they're
gives you,
looking. What
yes,
is this? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
if God gives you a message, to give to somebody, you want to present well, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And people will have just that much more respect for you. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to just add that too. But some encouragement that I would give to someone in transition, oh my goodness, so many things, so many things. But one thing I can say has helped me over the last 2 years in this pandemic, becoming a teacher, because we got virtual school, becoming a lunch lady,
Gotta
becoming
feed the kids.
a business owner, because I started my business in the pandemic, maybe
Me
a month.
too. Me too.
Yep. Like maybe a month before, I went to my training and everything like that, because I went through life coach certification.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that like a month before the pandemic, and then next thing you know, we were on lockdown. So one thing that has really helped me is being still.
Mm.
a lot of times we are in these roles and we have these titles and we have all these responsibilities, right? And I totally understand that and get that. But the reality is when you're on go, 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 you run the risk of missing God, and you run the risk of missing what he wants to say to you or what he wants you to be doing. And you're trying to do everything in your own strength, and you're trying to do everything based on what you think is right. But when you sit and you're still during your transitional period, whether into a good transition or, in a not so great transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
You allow yourself, to hear clearly
Mm-hmm.
what you should be doing, and it allows you to kind of quiet the noise.
Right.
So I would say just be still, find 10-15 minutes here and there where you can sit still, maybe get you a journal and document what you're going through now and where you see yourself, right? Don't get stuck in where you are now, because now is not going to always be forever,
It's
right?
temporary. It's only temporary.
Yeah.
It is. And I love that you say that, because I tell my clients that that's something that I do every day. I sit with myself. I wake up, I give thanks, because it's better than the alternative. Someone didn't make it. And I'm just thankful. And then I sit and I breathe, I meditate, I exhale, inhale. And then I know that meditation is not for everyone. Journaling is not for everyone. So do what works for you. If you are only able to sit still for 2 seconds, make that the best 2 seconds of your life, because
Get a
the
good
point,
breath.
yes, like the point is to just be with yourself, take in the new day so that you can operate as your best self moving forward. Because you didn't get a good night's sleep the night before. That should not affect your job or your the way that you treat people. And a lot of times when we're transitioning, we have bad attitudes, bad energy. We don't care what's going on, because we feel like nothing is happening good for us. And even if it's happening good, we still find some way to try to sabotage that and say, you know what? Yeah, I had a great day, but I had a great day. And own that, accept that, embrace that, live in that for a minute, surround yourself with people that's gonna be happy for you. You had a great day. Girl, I had a great day too. When you called me, I was not having a great day, but you said something during our conversation that made me say, you know what, let me shake this off and enjoy my day.
Yeah.
Because sometimes life is too hard to be getting stuck in that.
Yes, it is. And I love that you touched on, that network. Okay. The network is very important. So, I love my mama, and I love my kids' godmom. She's like a mom to me. But I would call them in the mornings on my way to work, and we would have not so positive conversations. This was my first year of marriage, so I would complain about marriage, how that goes, right? And I would complain about these kids and complain about going to work, and it was just complain, and they would allow me to do that. They would allow me to do that. And so when I have conversations with people and I'm listening to them vent, because venting is important, yes, right? But I try not to allow them to harbor or stay in that. Like, okay, that happens, but what can we do to move forward? What can we do to make it better? Because you harping about this for an hour on the way to work is just gonna set you up for a bad day.
Exactly. And you know what happens when you start changing your mindset? The conversation shifts. And so the people that you're not supposed to be talking to on a regular basis, they kind of like fall off. Yep. And so you're talking to the people that will pour into you in a positive way, that'll say, okay, girl, you got up on the wrong side of the bed. Let's pray about it and get you through it. Yep. The conversations will change, guys. Transitioning is necessary. It is something that we need to embrace more. And if that looks like changing your circle, changing your wardrobe, because sometimes we just need a new dress, honey, or a new pair of pants or suit. Like, hey, like, do that. But my thing is, and I tell clients that if you buy one thing, get rid of something old. Same thing with mindset. If you letting go of a negativity, you know, you pick up something positive.
Yep.
Or if you letting go of Coca-Cola, and I love me some Coca-Cola. If you letting it go, like make sure that you drink more water, something. So if you give something, get something. It's small rewards that makes the end goal so much more rewarding when you celebrate the little things. It's like, okay, I didn't drink that Coke for 2 weeks, and my waistline feel a little different.
Yes.
These
Less
jeans
bloated.
ain't as tight around there. Like my
Right.
skin looks a little different. Yeah, so everything is rewarding in some way if you take it and look at the positive aspect of it. So
Exactly. Yep.
transitioning in the positive aspect, what would you tell our listeners? Or what is something that you would tell some of the clients that you work with? Because we're going to talk about this business in a minute. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the transition. And so what is something that you can give, like a tip or something, maybe 2 or 3 tips that you can offer listeners or someone that's in their own way at this particular moment when it comes to transitioning?
Well, one thing I would say as a tip for someone who may be going through a transition is, number one, like exactly what we said, right? And y'all, I did not know these questions. I'm on the spot here.
No, I don't send the questions in advance.
I don't want y'all to think we practiced. No, I don't know.
No, we did not. No, we did not.
So,
Because if you think about it, the questions just kind of coming to me. I just have like talking points. So, they just come to me, and I thank God for it.
Okay, so this is good. But, going back to what we talked about, the first thing I would say for sure is to not be afraid of people who are not going to be able to transition with you. Okay. A lot of times I find that we're afraid to lose relationships, or that relationships are going to change because we're changing. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? But I knew that I needed to change my life, regardless of if my mom may stop talking to me, or if my kids' godmom may stop talking to me, or I may lose this friend or that friend. I needed to change my life. The second thing I would say, to somebody who may be transitioning is to, and this is going to sound a little cliche, but to stay the course, because distraction is going to come, right?
Oh, yes.
And so I want to preface that, because sometimes we think that the road to a positive transition should be all positive.
No.
And it's not, right? That, sometimes when you're on your way up a hill to the highest peak, you on your way to the very top, that's when you see the most distraction. That's when you get, tried the most, right?
Yes, the terrain is different on the upslope. Yes, like for real. You gonna have to dodge some people throwing some stones and rolling some snowballs that can suck you up, and you at the end of it like, oh right, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I'm a firm believer in being proactive versus reactive. So one exercise that I like to do with my clients is, what are some obstacles? What are some excuses that you might give yourself, to get out of your assignment? What are some obstacles that you might face when you're trying to build your brand, right? And how can you deal with those? What things can you put in place now so that when that happens, or if that happens, you have a plan in place?
I love
and you're
that.
not at the last minute trying to, hurry up and find somebody to get your kids if there's an emergency, or trying to, hurry up and do something fix something that happens at the last minute, right? How can you be proactive about the potential excuses? Because excuses are valid, but so what? We got to keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
And then, how can you be proactive for any obstacles, that you might face? So
Right.
I think that was 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just wave my hand, and for y'all who everybody who's listening, go over to YouTube and you can see the behind the scenes of the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, just wave your hands. Just wave your hand with me, because she just said a lot of amazing gems that we can take and apply to our daily lives when it comes to transition. Because if you continue to age and grow and live, and that's what we all hope for, although we know that life has to come to an end at some point. But I'll say this, and I haven't said it on the podcast as of yet. In 2020, my family and I lost a daughter. She was in a fatal car accident, and she was 19. but she was like the life of the party.
Mm,
She poured into people.
mm,
She didn't let them feel bad about themselves or stay in a place of saying, I don't have it all together.
mm,
I'm not pretty enough. I'm not, I'm not the best athlete enough or
mhm,
whatever. And so I found myself like, okay, she's no longer here, but she's here in spirit. Like I can carry that energy that she radiated to so many people and apply that to my life and push me to grow and do better. So anyone who is listening, who have endured any loss or is going through the transitioning phase of after loss or dealing with grief, it gets better. It's tough because every day is a journey, but focus on the great things that your loved one gave while they were here. And I'm thankful for the 19 years that we had with her. And it doesn't, the pain of losing someone so close to you, you never let that go, but you
never.
found alternatives to make it a little easier.
Mm,
So accept the fact that transition is not always going to be the best thing, but it's always the necessary thing in order to grow. And I didn't mean to get emotional, and I
mhm,
apologize for that. But I was led to share that, and like I said, this is my first time talking about it on the podcast. So, yeah,
wow.
y'all just excuse me.
Wow. Well, do not apologize because wow, I feel honored that you even, felt comfortable with even sharing that, so, my condolences for real. And I always like to tell people who are transitioning from like during grief, like in reference to losing someone,
Yeah,
that just like you said, there is no time limit for you to grieve someone.
right.
And you don't have to one feel bad about continuing to live on your life because that's what I'm sure that she would want you all to
Oh
do.
yeah, of
You know,
course.
and you don't have to feel bad if you're not ready to start back living your life either. Whichever
Absolutely.
place, that you are at, trust and be led by your creator. I know who my creator is,
Me.
but whoever you believe yours to be, right? Trust that they are going to lead you and guide you. Today is 2 2 2 2 2.
Yes,
you
and it's
know,
not coming back around for another 200 years.
it's
Listen.
so this is if there is any time, right, there's no time like the present to be and stay authentic to you even in your transition, right?
Mhm.
And if you're a person who is supporting someone also, and I know this is kind of off topic, but if you're a person who is supporting someone who might be, grieving at this time too, you know try to find productive ways to be there for them. Don't just say, well, I'm here if you need me, or I know what you're going through. Try to find some productive ways to really be there for that person as they are going through that type of transition, because we know not the day, not the hour, that people will leave us, but and that doesn't make it, easier,
And
to
then
go
and
through.
then if you're in someone's space and they are going through grief and transitioning, don't tell them that what they shouldn't do. Please don't, because I've had that happen to all of us. Like our family has been told that by people, where she wouldn't want you to do this, or you shouldn't want to do this, or you need to get your life back, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Don't do that, because all grief is different, all loss is different. So if you've never gone through that, just give them grace.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what to say, just say, I'm praying for you. If you're a praying person,
Yeah.
I'm here for you. But never say, I'm here for you if you need me. When people tell me that, still to this day, it goes in one ear and out the other, because I feel like, why? If you know that I'm dealing with this, why do I need to reach out to you? Like, just check on me from time to time, or say, hey, we haven't talked in a while, is everything okay? It's okay to be vulnerable with your friends and family who are dealing with loss. Don't treat them like it's a disease or something. Don't make them feel like they wrong for grieving
Oh my
the
goodness.
loss of someone that has been so, was so close to them. So I'm telling listeners who are listening in from personal experience, that only pushes those people further away, because it pushed me away from people that I valued in my life, that I felt like they were, some of my best friends. I barely talk to some of those people today. And the thing about it is, once I stop missing you, we don't ever have to talk again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard and it's sad, and we're not trying to change the subject and make it melancholy, but I don't know why it came up. Okay, God, we listening. You
It
never
happens that
know
way.
if someone is listening who may be experiencing it. But I just look at the times that I had with my baby, and the bright light that she was, and that helps me. That helps.
That's
So
amazing. That's awesome. And
yeah, so
again, my condolences, to you and your family. I'm not gonna say I know what you're going through, because I don't, and I hate when people say that to people who are grieving. But I definitely, send my condolences and lots of love and hugs
yes,
to
yes,
you and your
yes,
family.
yes, absolutely. So on a personal note, what would you right now tell your younger self? What would right now Coach Shaniqua tell young little Shaniqua trying to find her way when it comes to transitioning? What advice would you offer your younger self?
Oh man, when it comes to transitioning, wow. My advice would be not to be afraid of what you don't know. Don't fear what you don't know, because sometimes what you don't know could actually be the thing that you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did not grow up in church, but from what I've experienced, right? One thing that was kind of like voodoo or like bad, in some churches, was meditation.
Mm.
And so when I was introduced to meditation, at first I was hesitant about letting myself be free and, experience, the light and the love and the freeness of the meditation. And so it held me back a little bit in making my transition to who I am now. But once I was able to check the references for myself and
Right.
go and read my own Bible and what it says about meditation and not what people have said,
Right.
it allowed me to really be free in the meditation and really be still and really open myself up to what God wanted to say, because I believe prayer is our dialect to God, and meditation is his dialect back to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so just don't be so quick to be like, oh no, that is not for me, or don't be afraid of something that's new. It might be good for you.
Absolutely. I love that. And I just had a conversation with someone about that. Try new things and stop putting the stigma or the beliefs that our parents, grandparents, friends, whatever, caused us to believe, because we miss out on. I love meditation. I'm certified in meditation. It changed my life.
Yeah.
And, I'm not knocking anyone that don't have a passion for it or zeal to try it, to each his own, but it has been something that I practice normally every day. I meditate every day.
Same.
So I love that you would tell your younger self that don't be afraid to try new things, in a sense. So yes, I love that. Before we get off, tell everybody about the business. Like, tell everybody how they can work with you, connect with you, where to find you. Because I know you just told me something the other day. You said that Instagram is not going to be your primary platform for, I love me some Instagram.
You know what? I do too. I love me some Instagram. But you know what? I have been trying out some different platforms. And I think that they are going to be another option, right? I'm not going to leave Instagram. That's where I coach my clients on how to build a brand on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not going to leave Instagram. But what I do want to do is I want to create more spaces for us to share and more spaces for us to be able to be open and have dialect. Sometimes I feel like, with Instagram, it's all about the vanity metrics, but I love what the rich auntie is doing,
Yes.
love what Preston and them are doing, opening up
Yes.
conversations and things like that. So the last couple of weeks, I just really been going in on Clubhouse because I like inviting people to have conversations. I used to do something similar to a podcast like 2 years ago, and it was like the conversation, but we did it and streamed it live on Facebook, and we would have
Okay.
like, real conversations and
Mm-hmm.
allow people to have dialogue and things like that. So I really believe that conversations can change lives, right? If you get hold of the right conversation or you have the right conversation with the right person, it can really change the trajectory, of your life. And so I've been having some really great conversations over on Clubhouse. My name is the same, Coach Shaniqua, over on Clubhouse, Instagram, the Coach Shaniqua. I'm also on YouTube, new to YouTube, dibbling dabbling there. So YouTube and Clubhouse are, going to be my main focuses, for the year. But I'm still keeping Instagram. It's not going away, just, not as much. Cause I be live on Instagram like every day.
Yeah. Look, the other day I jumped on, I saw you were live. Morgan was live. Lipstick by Money was live. I think Mr. Brown was live. I was like, I can't be everywhere.
Where do I go here? Right.
So I just kind of like jumped in on everybody's and said hello and then jumped on out, So I like to support people that support me. And y'all, since I've met you guys through the Rich Auntie, when I tell you that we show up for each other when it comes to support, it is amazing. It's refreshing to know that genuine people who working and doing their own thing are like getting out of the way and saying, hey, let me pour into this person. Let me go and see what they have to offer. It's not about me. Let me go and check on some other people and support that. So, and that's just confirmation that it's enough for everybody.
Exactly. So I absolutely agree with that. I'm a firm believer in collaboration over competition. We can accomplish so much more when we work together. Okay.
Yes.
So I am making some transitions. I really want to be able to go on a journey with a couple of women. I really want to have an intimate experience and
I want to do that too.
Yeah, I want to help you cultivate a brand that is really authentic to you. And that's going to help you operate in your purpose, because I feel like a lot of times we start businesses just to say, oh, I started a business, or it was, convenient or quick money. But I really believe that businesses are a part of ministry. Right.
Yes.
So kicking it with KeKe brings laughter, it brings realness, it brings rawness, and there is a ministry aspect to this, right? And so I think it's important that people discover what that is and then how to package it into a brand.
Right. Listen, you the person for it. Like we told you the other night, the world better get ready. Because Coach Shaniqua, you are here and you coming full force, like I'm for real. And I believe that. I know for a fact because the energy, and then I could feel, I mean, we've never met a day in our lives in person, but I could feel like you have a heart for the people. And then you're the spirit of God that dwells in you identifies with the spirit of God that dwells in me. And I know that it resonates with other people that's like-minded and doing the same thing. So God is going to send his people to you, and they listen. I'm excited to hear the testimony.
I'm grateful. I'm excited. I'm so excited about it. So I'm working on trademarking some stuff right now. And then I really want to start, going on these journeys. It's going to be a 12-week journey. So I really want to start, having that intimate time with women, because right now it's kind of like a one-off thing, right? And that's fine, but what happens when you have trouble sticking to the content plan? What happens when you have trouble sticking to the strategy? What happens when you have trouble in your personal life and you don't know how to get your footing back, right? That kills like 50% of businesses. The wrong thing happens, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'll work on that next year. I'll do that next year, right? So I'm excited about it, and I'm grateful
Yes.
for you, having me on. I don't, take it lightly when people allow me the opportunity to speak on their platform, because our platforms are like our babies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta shield that from all types of energy. But it was a no-brainer. Like when I saw you in the live and you came in, we just was so warm and welcoming toward each other. It was a no-brainer. I was like, oh, I gotta have her on the show. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, yep. And anyone who's listening that would like to work with Coach Shaniqua, tell them how they can get in touch with you again.
You
She is the
guys can.
bomb.com. Y'all want to get on. Cause when her schedule books up, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. I told you. I
I
told you.
told you. I appreciate that so much. But you guys can definitely still connect with me on Instagram at the Coach Shaniqua. You can also connect with me on Clubhouse. I actually started a club. It's called Build the Brand, because that's what I want to help you all do. I want to help you build the brand. And so you can find me in my Clubhouse room every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll have different topics from personal development to branding and all those types of things. I do have a YouTube channel, same name, Coach Shaniqua. And my DMs, pretty much stay open. I am, for the people all the time. So, if you have a question or want to reach out, please feel free to do so.
Absolutely. And all of her information will be in the description box. So y'all feel free, if you're led to, go ahead and connect with her. Is there anything else you would like to say before we get off about our topic for today, transitioning, to anyone who's listening at this moment?
Well, to anyone who is listening at this moment, I would say to embrace the transition, regardless of what it looks like with your natural eye. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So all things work out for your divine elevation, and all things work out for the good of you and those who are connected to you.
Absolutely. And all I'm going to say is thank you for listening to Kicking It with KeKe, life, love, and all that other shit. I am here every Thursday. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, share, follow. I am on all major podcast platforms. I just got picked up by iHeartRadio, so I'm excited about that. Thank you so much. And you guys, I wouldn't be here without you. I love what I do and I do what I love. So I never work a day of my life. And I thank God for that. And, on that, you just be intentional, embrace the transition, no matter what it looks like, and you'll get through it. Breathe, take some space, and you will get through it. Just know that you will get through it. If I can do it, you can do it. So until next time, see you guys later.